What's the best microneedling size to regrow your hair? Microneedling, also known as dermarolling, is one of the best hair treatments available today to regrow your hair. When used in combination with Minoxidil, it has the potential to regrow your hair in the areas where it was previously lost. However, because it is such a new treatment, it is not yet known what the best needle size for dermarolling is. So before we look at before and after examples of people who have tried different needle sizes, I will also look at scientific studies to find out what the best microneedling size is. One thing we do know, and a good starting point, is that microneedling works at a needle size anywhere from 0.5 to 1.5 millimeters. Anything below that is not enough to stimulate hair growth, and anything above that can actually cause scarring of the skin and further damage the hair follicles. So it's definitely not recommended to use a needle size larger than this. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of research on this particular topic. However, there is a recent study that looked at the best microneedling size to regrow your hair. The name of the study is Microneedling in Androgenic Alopecia, comparing two different depths of microneedles. This study specifically looked at two extremes of dermarolling needle depth, 0.6 millimeters and 1.5 millimeters. So the subjects of the study were actually dermarolling every 2 weeks with either 0.6 millimeter or 1.5 millimeter needles. The trial is interesting because the subjects were divided in 3 different groups. The first one was just using Minoxidil as a means to regrow the hair, and the other 2 were using the before mentioned needle sizes in combination with Minoxidil. What they found out is that microneedling in combination with Minoxidil is definitely much better than just using Minoxidil alone. This is because, as I explained in my other videos, you are not only getting the double benefits of both treatments, each with its unique mechanisms of making the hair regrow, but you will also increase the absorption of Minoxidil by using a dermaroller. But what they also found out is that actually a 0.6 millimeter needle depth may actually be better than a 1.5 millimeter needle size. They argue that this may be because 0.6 millimeter needles are just about the perfect needle size to stimulate the derma papilla without damaging the hair follicle. And 1.5 millimeter needle depth may be a bit too much. If you've been using a 1.5 millimeter needle depth, don't worry. It turns out when you're using a dermaroller, you're not really using the full needle depth. Let me explain why. Dermarollers, when used, require pressure. That's why even if you're using a 1.5 millimeter needle depth, you will actually probably not use the full needle depth, since it will probably not get fully into your skin. On the other hand, if you're using a derma pen, which is the same as a dermaroller, only it works automatically, you will probably use a much more accurate and precise needle depth. Derma pens apply the pressure automatically. So if you're using a derma pen, you need to be a bit more careful about the needle size you choose. So let's take a look at different needle sizes and their results, the results of people, so you can decide which one works best for you. Just to remind you, this is certainly not a scientific comparison. For starters, some of the people in this before and after results I'm gonna show you were maybe also using some other treatments such as finasteride. So that could also affect their results. And secondly, I can only show you a few examples. This is just to give you an idea of what you can expect. Okay, so first on our list we have someone who is using a 0.5 millimeter needle depth. This I would say is the most common starting size. So this guy did dermarolling with a 0.5 millimeter needle depth in combination with Minoxidil, nothing else, no other treatments. 3 months later, these are the results. You can already see that he has a ton of new hair coming out, especially on the temples. If you're considering microneedling to start to regrow your hair and you're not sure which needle size you should start using, I would recommend actually starting with a 0.5 millimeter needle depth. This way you can familiarize yourself with the dermaroller, and in the future, if you feel comfortable with it, you can upgrade to a 1 millimeter needle size. Now let's take a look at a guy who is dermarolling with a 1mm needle size. So this guy was also using Minoxidil in combination with microneedling, but this time 1mm. So nothing else, no finasteride or anything else. You can see a big improvement here, not only in the recovery of most of his hair, but also in the hair density overall. So as I said, 1mm is certainly another needle depth that works perfectly in regrowing your hair, and I hope it will also be compared to other needle depths in a research study in the future. We will probably see something like this soon. Let's look now at another example. This guy was also dermarolling plus using Minoxidil. He started using a 1mm dermarolling needle size, but then went back to 0.5mm needles. The interesting part about this user is that he said that he was completely able to regrow his temple area by dermarolling 3 times a week. I will be making soon a video about how often you should dermaroll to regrow most of your hair. So if you don't want to miss it out, click on the subscribe button and please give this video a big like. Anyway, this result is remarkable as I know how difficult it is to regrow the temple area. So congratulations to him. Finally, I wanted to show you an example of someone that was using a 1.5mm needle size. This is actually my preferred needle size, the one I actually use. I'm not saying that you should also use this one, it's just the one that worked best for me. So this guy also combined Minoxidil with microneedling. He also added ketoconazole shampoo, but I would say that from all the treatments he was using, the ketoconazole shampoo was probably the least effective one in regrowing any of his hair. The hair regrowth you see here is mostly from Minoxidil and microneedling. What's interesting is that this photo was taken 3.5 months later. So it's amazing how fast the treatment works when you apply these two treatments in combination. Well, thank you for watching. If you want to see my personal journey in regrowing my hair, including microneedling, click on this video. Or if you want to see another video comparing Minoxidil and microneedling, which one is best and how to combine them, click on this video. Until next time, I wish you a happy hair journey. Adios!